Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Travel with Terri podcast, featuring Terrie Guthrie, a Dallas, Texas-based travel journalist who loves to talk about luxury family vacations, regional food and culture, national parks, historic attractions, and so much more. Welcome, everyone. Full time with Terri here in Texas. She is about Texas, but she does travel the world and goes across the country. In fact, as this airs, she's in the air going to the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. But she wanted to make sure you all know about what's happening in Dallas at the Arboretum. How are you doing, Terri?
Hey, howdy from Texas. Yes, I am doing great, and I am excited to share one of our favorite places really on earth, not just in Texas, but this is one of our all-time favorite places, the Dallas Arboretum and Botanical Gardens.
This is a place Nancy and I have been wanting to go to for a long time, and we will get there. But so it's the Arboretum and Botanical Garden put together. And then when it comes to different seasons, they kind of shift out. So I know right before we were recording, you were talking about Christmas is just like amazing, but fall, y'all. This event is on right now. So it started September 20th. This is airing September 23rd, as you know. And this event goes all the way through November 2nd, 2025. This is a special theme. So it looks like they do a special theme every year.
Yes, they do. Yeah, and their things are so much fun, and it's always exciting to see, what they're going to do each year. I know one year it was Bugtopia, another was kind of a fantasy theme. Last year was like a Texas town theme, and this year is called Mundo Mexico. And this is really exciting, Lisa. I think this may be one of the most colorful and beautiful one, but just know that the autumn at the Arboretum is it's one of America's premier fall attractions. No joke. That's why it's just so fantastic and why people from around the world come to see it. And this year, the festival transforms more than 110,000 pumpkins, gourds, and squash. Just think of all those gorgeous colors. And they're just making it into this unprecedented celebration of Mexican living culture and contemporary art and cross border biodiversity. And this is definitely positioning Dallas as a national destination for fall and cultural tourism.
I love this because, sharing our borders together and looking at, the cultural diversity, the biodiversity, it's so interesting. And, Dallas, I remember, us first starting to travel into Dallas and really getting to understand. And, as Nancy and I travel full time across the country, we pet sit. And so I get the opportunity to garden everywhere we go and across the country. And Dallas, I was like, wow, this is different. And it is biodiverse. And you have humidity, but not that much humidity, but you still have it. It's like and yet at the same time, desert. It almost reminds me a little bit of Tucson, but it's still different. Tucson, Sonoran. I don't even know what to say about Dallas on the desert level, but the gardens, just in general, of people's gardens in Dallas. This is why I like dog walking, because I like to snoop in people's gardens. But I want to
Uh-huh.
go to the garden, the botanical garden and the arboretum itself, because they always do such a good job to showcase plants that have been used by the indigenous people throughout the years and, centuries, really. We're talking about that with arboretums and botanical gardens across the country and around the world are really good about doing that, these cultural gardens, and then also showcasing, well, we've got this, we've got that, and all these different plants and demonstration gardens for people that live in the area if they want to try and do the same kind of thing. But then these kinds of events really kind of get into the cultural aspect of the community, which goes back to, who was there from the beginning, which is, I think,
Oh, yes.
exciting right now with what's happening.
Well,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's what I was going to say because they have collaborated with so many different groups. And so with the Mundo Mexico, it really combines like art and culture and education in ways that resonates across all generations. And this is a celebration that's rooted in community, beauty, and connection, and values that defines who the Dallas Arboretum is as a public garden. And all cities should be so lucky as to have such a beautiful public garden as this. I know there are many across the United States, but this is definitely, one of the top, not just in the United States, but in the world. It really is. And this is one of the most beloved fall festivals in all of North America. So
Wow.
Autumn at the Arboretum, just, know that, put that on your list because this is an event, and this theme is certainly one to resonate and delight, with a special nod this year to the Mexican culture, as we were talking about. And it's just in time for Hispanic Heritage Month, which is
I
going
love
on.
that, which is now all the way through October 15th. And you know what I love about this? I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Central Market having, the German food part of it, the German food culture and heritage that is
Mhm.
connected with Texas, or should I say Tejas? Yeah, I'm going there. I'm going there but that's what I love about this. And so, when you go into something like this, they're also going to be showing, gourds and squash. And am I right that 110,000 pumpkins are happening?
Yes, a combination, of pumpkins, gourds, and squash, and
Mm,
I'm telling you, when we go there, I see things I've never seen before. I was like, "Oh, now what is this?" I don't even know if it's a gourd or a squash, but, they're all in the pumpkin, gourd, and squash family, and
mm,
so there's so many, varieties and colors and textures. I mean, it is just it's an explosion of color. It is a feast for the eyes. I've never seen anything prettier at fall time than what they do at the Dallas
mm.
Arboretum. With it,
You
because
know,
they have an entire pumpkin village, in case you didn't know. It's an entire village, yes.
wow. Okay, I like this. The pumpkin village. I want to touch back on what you're talking about though with the squash. So, the three sisters, right, is squash, beans, and corn. Is the three sisters for
Oh,
our
okay.
that's a Mexican tradition, and they normally grow together. And that's like, all of us in cooking, our cultural roots, there's always what are the three things you want in your kitchen? And that is the three things, the three sisters, and they grow together. And I was reading that they're doing those connections as well in some of their cultural programming. But I want to hear this pumpkin village, because this is something that they do every year, right? That they really they go to town, but it's a big
Oh,
town.
yes, they do. I mean, these are pumpkin houses that you can walk in. I mean, you could put a big family in. I mean, they're big, and they're made for you to walk through and enjoy, and, of course, take pictures, at, because they're so unusual and just very, very unique, clever. I'm trying to think of all the words, just that the skill level is just so expert, and I think they're very, artfully done. I don't know, it's just like I don't know how to describe it, but everything about the Pumpkin Village, is natural, other than I guess they have to have a base, for the stands of the Pumpkin Village, but m most of it all is just very natural, and it's
Mm.
just beautiful. It's, just uber creative, but this year, they have 7 architecturally inspired pumpkin houses. And
Oh.
what I love about this is a little bit different than what they've done before, is, they're honoring each of, the different regions in Mexico. And so I'm just saying that, boy, this was a pretty ambitious transformation, but I know it is absolutely spectacular. And I feel like every year when you think they can't top it, it's like the next year that it just gets better and better and better. And this one is one for the record books.
Well, I know too, the pumpkins, I was reading in everyone, I want to give out the website, and the website is linked in the episode notes. You can go to dallasarboretum.org. But what I was reading too is that these pumpkins all come from one area in Texas, and um, this is Floydada, Texas, if I'm pronouncing this correctly. The pumpkin capital. You have a pumpkin capital in Texas. I'm liking
Yes,
this.
we do. Yes, they have a great partnership with the Pyle family, and, Floridata, Texas is about 330 miles just directly west from Dallas,
Really?
and, they have a great partnership with them. So every year, they grow a massive amount of pumpkins for the Arboretum. This year was 110,000 is what they used, but they
Insane.
grow about 1,000,000
What?
total. So, yeah, yeah, they're huge, but, this is, it's fascinating, it's fascinating. The whole process, that's a story in its own about them growing it and then them getting it to the Arboretum and the whole constructing of all this, this pumpkin village and everything that they do. I mean, this is I guess people work on it all year long, planning this event because it's so massive and so well done. It's very professional and beautiful and, yeah, and it just has so many different components to it as we talked about, which I love.
Well, I love this, being the pumpkin capital of Texas. See, this is what I love about Texas. There's all these capitals, and there's things like the thing about traveling to Texas, and I remember doing this one of the first times just pull over at the brown sign. There's brown signs, which are parks, right? Which
Yes.
we
Uh-huh.
pull over all the time for. But then there's the historic signs. We're like, ooh, pull over at the historic sign. Then we're like, oh, we're really getting late to our destination. So history is a big deal in Texas. The people of Texas really save everything that happened in these signs that are across as you drive through it if you're on a road trip, which is awesome. But they have all these capitals. Like I know Gladewater, Texas, not far from Dallas, right, is the antique capital of Texas or of like Eastern Texas, I think. And then
Uh-huh.
you've got the Rose Capital, which is
Oh,
Tyler,
yes.
Texas, not too far
Yeah.
from you either. And we've been to that rose garden. We were off season, but still, I wouldn't, you know what? If they didn't tell me we were there off season, I wouldn't have known because it was
Uh,
still beautiful and there were still roses in bloom. You know how that
I
happens, you
and would
know?
you believe I've never been to that in Tyler, and I should,
Oh,
but I
well,
just
now.
yeah,
Mm,
I gotta go, but we have right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, Grapevine, Texas is the Christmas capital of
that's
Texas,
right.
and now just recently named Denton, Texas is the Halloween capital of Texas. So those are just a few more to add to the list.
Well, I think, the world's a little wonky, and these events that happen across our country are so important to get families out, to have positivity in life, and to have family unity and just have some fun. Sometimes we need to turn the TV off. It doesn't mean you turn it off and not be aware, like permanently or anything, but go out and have those moments. I think these kinds of events kind of make us like, hello, let's all go as a family and friends to,
Yes.
autumn at the Arboretum, because this is what makes family memories. Just like we were talking about the state fair for Texas. That's a family memory that you're not going to forget. We're
Oh,
making
yeah.
memories. We're celebrating the place where we live or we're visiting in. Um, I really am a huge fan of these events. And for travelers coming into a place, this is a real way to get to know an area that you're visiting is going to these community events. But like in Dallas, it's a big community event.
Oh, yeah, and what I love about it I have all these great places to take, my family and out of town guests when they come. In fact, I always make a list and it'll be, like 25 things. I mean, there's just so much to do here. It's crazy, but top of my list always, is, the Fort Worth Stockyards. Love the historic Fort Worth Stockyards, and downtown Fort Worth, love that, and I live right between Dallas and Fort Worth, so it's perfect. And then, the Dallas Arboretum, that's another one, and, one of the things, Lisa, that they have this year, that they've never had before is this, like, monumental centerpiece installation, and I've never heard of anything like it. They, actually had this, they had a renowned artist that's from Jalisco over, like,
Hmm.
by Puerto Vallarta, that area, that state, and, he has created something exclusive for the Dallas Arboretum, and this is a large scale textile installation, and I've just never heard of anything like it. I mean, it's huge. It's a real colorful canopy that reimagines indigenous weaving traditions as a public art, and it's
Oh, that's cool.
transforming the central walkway into a sky of bold patterns and very intricate textures and kind of like a cultural storytelling. So it's really cool. You just like look up and you'll just be amazed at this installation. I want to just tell you about the numbers of this just to get an idea of how big this is because it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around it. It has 1,188 hand crocheted hexagons.
Oh, wow.
It has 108.2 miles of thread used, and that's equivalent to the drive from Dallas to Oklahoma City and back. And then it
Wow.
has, like 3,500 plus hours of collaborative labor. Like, it was they said it was like 150 days of, like, nonstop work, with, multiple people. 396 square meters covered, larger than a professional tennis court,
This
and
is
it
nuts.
only weighs 350 pounds. So, I mean, have you ever heard of such? I haven't. I just
See,
am
but this
so
is but this is you get every time you come on a show about Texas, here we're going big, go big or go home, but you are home, so you have to go big. One of the this Pumpkin Village, which is everything you're talking about. The one I really want to go and see is the Casa Calabasa Azul, and that is an homage to Frida Kahlo's home. And I want to go see that because it's really going into kind of that style of Mexico City, which I've always wanted to go there and I always wanted to go to her house. In fact, that would be my dream home other than I really want to open house with the planes too. So I don't know if I need like a little, it's the thing about having the central courtyard. I want her courtyard. I,
yes.
I,
Oh
I,
gosh.
I want her courtyard. I do.
I love all those courtyards. They're the dreamiest place. I'll have to tell you about a place in Puerto Vallarta sometime that you would love. That it's all built around a courtyard. It's a fantastic place where we had my daughter's bridal luncheon,
Oh,
and
wow.
it is dreamy. And just on a side note, I'll just tell you that Elizabeth Taylor's ex-husband Richard Burton
Oh,
um,
yeah.
bought it for his next wife. And Elizabeth Taylor literally lived right down the road, like a block away. But this
Wow.
house, I've stayed at it, and I know exactly what you're talking about. That style and the architecture is just dreamy. And,
Yeah, I
there's
want
just so many cool things like that, and I love that they have really, really brought that, Mexican look and style and culture and all of that, here to the Dallas Arboretum, and so just like we said with Central Market bringing in Germany, now we have the Arboretum bringing in Mexico, just both of them in a big,
and the state
exciting.
Texas, the state of Texas Fair has got,
Oh god.
corny dogs. I've been telling everybody about corny dogs now, all because you told me that story, and I'm like, did you know, y'all? There's corny. It's not the corn dog, it's the corny dogs. Now, one more thing I wanted to touch on because also this connection between Texas and Mexico is the monarch butterflies that come through and migrate, and they have Casa Monarca, and this is a tribute to the monarch butterfly migration coming through, and they even just kind of make it into a forest out there in Michoacan, and I want to go there. It's like they have butterfly wings, and pumpkins with it makes sense. The pumpkins are the color of the monarchs. So
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's
I
true. Yeah, they're very
this is
much a
so
fall color.
creative. This
Yes.
is so they're putting the people with the land, basically, with
Yeah,
nature. They're
yeah. I mean, it's
connecting.
like, 2 or 1 type of thing, and, yeah, I think they've just done a great job of weaving that all together, and like I said, every year has been fantastic, but this one, I think this may be one of their very best
Mhm.
ones for sure. It sounds so impressive, but, there are just some fun things going on all over the United States, it's just such a exciting time.
Mhm.
Like you said, the feeling of fall and just like nothing says autumn in America like a visit to a pumpkin patch and, families getting together and picking that perfect pumpkin and sipping hot cider and wandering through corn mazes, all of that, and just the crisp fall air that I can't wait to feel. And, I love fall. I think the fall season has got to be one of everyone's favorite just for those reasons. And of course, you think about all the fun fall crafts and moms and all the good cooking that we do with all the pumpkin and spices and stuff, but
Yes, please.
I know. I just love it. I've already bought my pumpkin spice candle, but fall festivals and fairs are just all across the United States. So, I was gonna tell you about, a few of them. I have about 6 here I wanted to share with you that I
Mm.
thought were kind of fun. So, like, whether you're, like, chasing giant gourds or glowing jack-o'-lanterns or pumpkin boat races, yes, here's some
Whoa.
fall festivals across the US that are really fun sounding. So one is in Darmascotta, Maine. And I heard about this when I was in Maine last. And this is a pumpkin fest and a regatta. Because listen to this. This is a quirky coastal celebration that features giant pumpkin boat races. And this is where competitors paddle or motor across the harbor and hollowed out pumpkins weighing up to 700 pounds.
What?
Oh, and
Seriously?
then they also add in, pumpkin catapulting, carving contests, and whimsical pumpkin art installations, but this is a big deal in Maine, and I know Maine has got to be one of our everything up there on the East Coast during fall is just so, so, so beautiful, but this is another great one. I would love to see this. This is called the Great Jack-O'-Lantern Blaze, and this is in Hudson Valley, New York. And this is supposed to be like a spell-binding nighttime experience. They have over 7,000 hand-carved pumpkins arranged in these, like, very elaborate displays, and it's all illuminated, to
Hmm.
music. So it's kind of a part art show and part Halloween spectacle, and, that has got to be just fantastic. Then, go back over to the other side of the United States in California in Half Moon Bay. They have this thing called the
Oh, yeah.
Pumpkin Way Off, and this is home to the World Championship Pumpkin Way Off. And this festival pretty much crowns the heaviest pumpkin. And you're not going to believe this. Often they will have a pumpkin that is over 2,000 pounds. And so, can you
Oh
believe
my
it? I just like,
gosh.
I know. I mean, you can like make a Cinderella carriage out of these. So these are like they feature also like pumpkin carving and, pie eating contest and just that whole charming coastal fall vibe.
Wow.
That sounds so fun. And then I love this one also in New Hampshire. They have their pumpkin festival they have there is they have a 30-foot, 34-foot tall tower of jack-o'-lanterns and it's like this glowing tribute that they have there in the fall, and then in Clarence, New York, they have the Great Pumpkin Farm, and this is weekends through Halloween's where you bring pumpkin launching contests where they have that, and then they also have, just your typical hay rides and corn mazes and pumpkin patch just bursting with color. So a great place to go, pick your pumpkin. But the pumpkin launching contest, I was like, oh, that
That
I
sounds
thought
like
that one
fun.
was unusual. And then there's another pumpkin regatta back. We're going to go back west to Utah. It's called South Jordan, Utah. And there
Mhm.
they have a local lake. And this is supposed to be a really wild and crazy event that features pumpkin boats also carved with chainsaws. And so they race across the water, and some sink and some sail, but I'm pretty sure that they're all very entertaining. So I'm kinda thinking I wanna get in a pumpkin now and try to float. I think that would be hilarious.
But you know what? It's cold because fall gets that little wind in there that I'm
Oh, yeah.
sorry, I'm already a baby about it. Like,
No, I hadn't
if
thought about that. You're probably right.
but there's people that will go out, there's people who do that polar bear plunge on New Year's Day in icy cold waters. And I've watched it, I've filmed it, and I'm like, power to you all. I will film you and I will clap and cheer you on. And I'm still going to have a Bloody Mary on New Year's morning, while you do that. But it's I think that's the cool thing is people are putting themselves out of their comfort zone and doing something hilarious. I mean, and I think it's so fun. This is such a fun season because we're embracing the beginning of the darkness, right? And doing it
Yeah.
with silliness and candy. So I want to know, what is your Halloween candy? Because I know that you've opened the door to trick or treaters, right? I know you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you
I love
decorate, right?
and where I live, we have the most trick-or-treaters. I mean, it's just crazy. They were just lined up from my front door all the way out to the street. And I just get a bag of I don't make stuff, I don't know that because we have way too many, but I just get a bag of variety of candies. But, okay, I am not a candy eater, and I'm like nobody can believe this, but when I used to trick or treat, I really didn't eat my candy. I would give it to my brother. But what I love a caramel apple. Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite things on
Oh,
earth
yeah.
is a caramel or a candied apple. Yep, those are my favorite, so I like the homemade stuff.
Yeah.
How about you?
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Well, I want to go to the Dallas Arboretum and Botanical Garden. It's been on my bucket list for a long time. And now you've made my bucket list like really kind of move forward, you know? So I
Uh,
know we're going to be in Texas a lot over the next year. So we are going to make it happen to go there because we must, because it just sounds like even if people like me, like I know we may not make it for this event, but I want to go. I don't care what time of year, even if it's winter. And people really, botanical gardens, people go, oh, well, in the winter, it's not going to be. No, no, no. Go to the botanical gardens in the winter. They do
oh,
things that are so magical that you
yes,
would just don't even, they use light, they use architecture of the plants. I mean, twinkly lights and hot cocoa while you walk around. It's,
yeah, I
gardens,
thought of it all. Yes.
it's all of it. And but I want to go. This is truly on my list to go. And I know you go there. Would you say any time of year is a year to go to the Arboretum
Yes.
and
Yeah,
uh,
I can't think I've been there, probably every month, every season, and it's always good. Of course, they really showcase these events that they have in the spring where they have millions of tulips and the fall, with the big pumpkin village, and then at Christmas, when I was telling you about the 12 days of Christmas in the German village, but it's always great. I mean, and it's so cool because it's downtown Dallas, and, um and it is on, White Rock Lake. I think I didn't mention that, but so it's on the shores of this lake, and
mm,
the Arboretum and Botanical Gardens actually is 66 acres. It's huge. It has this huge, huge, children's area too that's so impressive that I don't think I've ever made it completely through. There's so much to see and do there any time of the year. That's why they have over 1,000,000 visitors annually. So, yeah, it will
wow.
not disappoint, I assure you. It is a jewel, and, I say everybody come and see the Dallas Arboretum and Botanical Gardens because you will not be disappointed, and it's a showstopper, always.
Well, I love that they have all the what 110,000 gourds, right?
Yes.
You've got the Mexican artists there. You've got all this programming that connects the cultures with the earth and nature, which is so amazing. And so basically it's a feast of color, right? And when you think about this lake, that to me is really beautiful because fall to me, just as a nature person who's always out, that's what I'm doing. When I'm not talking to you and other podcast
Good.
guests, is fall. It's beautiful to be in forest with all the fall colors, but when you have those beautiful blue sky days in fall with fall colors, and then you get
Oh,
a
yeah.
lake next to it, you are, that's like, that's heaven right there, man. You got
Oh, I
everything,
know. And then
isn't it?
to me, I love a beautiful skyline. So just imagine this. So you have the Arboretum, the botanical gardens, all that acreage. And then you have White Rock Lake. And then across from the lake is the Dallas skyline. I mean, it's spectacular.
Oh, wow. So you got a
It's
little bit of
really
everything.
beautiful. Yes. And you know what I
Mm.
didn't mention? This is another thing that they have that we just love there at the Arboretum is that they have a concert series and, the way that the little amphitheater is situated, it overlooks everything that I just described. So, yeah, I mean, it just I wanna live there,
Okay.
honestly, as I told you earlier. I wanna live at the Dallas Arboretum or I wish I could volunteer there all the time. It's just one of my favorite
I'm
places.
all like, you just told me about music outside, which is even as a musician and performer myself, like my favorite gigs were outside because there's this freedom of nature and they're also the hardest to get your sound right. But to be in a beautiful setting like that, that's
It's unique.
magic for everyone. Oh my. Oh my.
Yeah.
Terry, you find the
Come to
best
Dallas.
places. And when we do, we're going there with you, right? So
Yes.
no,
Oh, absolutely.
you're going to have to be our personal tour guide there since I know you love it so much. Well, everyone, again, go to, DallasArboretum.org. The link is in the episode notes. Hope you enjoy it. And don't forget, even if you can't go there now, you can go there any time of year and go play pumpkins. Let's have some fun. It's fall, y'all. Thanks, Terry. We look forward to next week. I know you're going to be in Colorado, so we've got schooners in Maine, we got Colorado, we got a whole bunch of stories coming up. We got cooking schools in Mississippi. My gosh, we got a lot to talk about for the rest of the year. So stay tuned. Terry is here every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Central Time. If you can't make it at 9 a.m., listen anytime. So thanks so much, Terry.
Thank you, Lisa. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us here on Big Blend Radio's Travel with Terry podcast. You can follow Terry's adventures at travelwithterry.net, and that's Terry with an I, not a Y. Follow us here at bigblendradio.com. Happy travels!